Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain episode 435. Andrew here. My cholesterol is higher than it should be, according to my doctor person, who also tells me I'm obese. So, what does he know? What do I know? Um, he recommended that I take some online uh, courses offered through my insurance company on healthy eating and stuff like that, or rather on heart health. One of the two seminars includes a thing on meeting, yes, healthy eating. Um, and yeah, okay, sure. Uh, Problem is I don't, not a ton of the food I eat even has cholesterol in it. Like fish and chicken. It's about it. You know? Um like stop eating and just munch on grass? I don't know. Anyway, so last week was the first of the two. And it's a Zoom call, and I attended it. It's 2 hours long. It's very boring. It didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. Oh, the obesity thing because of BMI measurements, which is more of a height to weight ratio. I'm 6 foot, but I weigh like 213. It somewhere between like 213 to 215 is about where my weight sits. And on the BMI chart, that's into obese. I don't think I'm obese. I mean, maybe I have a grossly distorted sense of self-image when I look at myself in the mirror, but I don't know. Uh Heavy boned, I guess. Anyway, so I felt the first one was not particularly helpful, but this morning was the second one, which would have gone into specifically nutrition. Um, and I was thought, if I could get anything out of this whole thing, maybe it would be that one. And I work up. What's this madness? I need to touch grass and graze on it too. Hello, exile. Um, as I woke up, because I stayed up late because I'm an adult and I can. So I got up at like 9, and the Zoom call was at 9:30. So I was just going over the news, which I shouldn't because it depresses me. And I learned that another protest march was today. And I was like, oh, shit, I didn't even know about that. Well, that's much more important. So I skipped breakfast, which I normally would never ever do, and drove down to downtown San Diego and parked over by Balboa Park and walked down to the waterfront to join the march. And I'm standing under the convenient shade of a foliage full tree, waiting for the march to start. And I'm leaning against a traffic signal control box, which is a big metal box about as tall as I am. So I'm leaning against the box, just reading the signs. And my favorite one I saw was I take my whiskey neat because fuck ice. I'm like, I like that one. Um, anyway, so I'm leaning against this traffic signal control box when some woman on the other side mounts it. She climbs up on top of it, clearly because she's going to, get a sense of the crowd and take some pictures. And some other lady was like, hey, while you're up there, take my phone and take a panorama and stuff like that. And I'm like, I hope this whole thing doesn't topple over because it's traffic control signal boxes are not like big solid things. They're essentially just empty metal cabinets with electronics in them. They're not terribly sturdy. And even this lady I could feel the whole thing kind of shaking. So she gets up there and I just take a glance up and find that she is wearing a black jean miniskirt and I am staring straight up her rear end. Oops. I I don't know if she noticed. I would assume she was well aware of what she was wearing, and standing on a 6 foot tall box in front of a crowd would, angle wise, allow people to stare straight up her skirt and admire her white and blue patterned undies. And if she don't care, well, hey, I'm glad you're comfy. Uh, I think between the two of us, I was the most uncomfortable in that situation. Um, I did the anime thing. Yeah, it's like accidentally seeing people in a you know, usually in anime it's the skirt wearing character like falls down or something in an unflattering pose. Oh, if I actually did the anime thing, I would have kept staring and said pantsuit. That would be the anime. And then she would yell baka at the top of her lungs and slap me hard enough to relocate me about 600 yards. Or or if it was City Hunter, um Kaori would pull out like a mallet out of subspace pocket or something like that and wallop me. A slap and a red mark, yeah. So, um, so yeah, that was my morning, and then I got home and I ate breakfast at about 12:30 in the afternoon because I was hungry because I hadn't had anything to eat. Um, there were according to the news, about 40,000 people there, the San Diego waterfront. Not the 60 some thousand we had over the summer. Uh, and not quite, I think, how many did we have over in there was another one in the fall. I think that was less. I think that was like 30,000. So, more than the fall, I think. So, good turnout. So lunch, yeah. If you eat breakfast at lunch, is it still breakfast or is it lunch? Is it what you eat or when you eat it? Who knows? All right, so protests and butts. Yes, that's what I have in my note. My notes say protest butt. So I saw a lot of cool signs in a butt. So it's a fine morning. Let's see. Okay, so as I normally do when most of you are aware that I finished Cold Steel 2 last week. As I've done after I've finished each of the Trails game, I'm going to make some type of video talking about Cold Steel 2 or the series thus far. I am working on that video right now. What I've decided to do is I realized that all the videos I've made so far, I have barely touched on the music. I know I have mentioned it, but it hasn't been really a major focus of any of my videos. So that's what I'd like to do with the post Cold Steel 2 video. What I plan to do is pick my favorite individual track from each of the games that I've played thus far. No idea if I'm going to include Nayuta because I didn't stream it. Although I played the first few hours of it during the first several hours of it during Extra Life a couple of years ago, but I don't know. I'll think about it. So I've started that project. I'm hoping to get through the Sky soundtracks this weekend, Karaspell next weekend, and then the two Cold Steel games that I've played the weekend following. So it's going to be a few weeks until we get to Cold Steel 3. I also suspected and have now confirmed, being only halfway through Sky Second Chapter's soundtrack, that this is going to be a very difficult project, and I don't know how I'm going to pick one song from each game, because my short lists so far, not very short. Darn games having lots of good music in them. How inconsiderate. Cold Steel has some pretty good music. Yep. Yes, it does. Haven't haven't gotten to that yet though. Still in the middle of second chapter's OST. Um, and let's see how many. What's my short list looking like so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And I've got 16 tracks to go. Yeah. Yeah. So, look forward to a Trails music video. Well, not a music video, but a video about music. Um, and also, I'm trying. I want it's like, all right, favorite track from Sky First Chapter. It's this one. Here's why. Try and keep that to like 2 minutes, and then move on. And that would still be like a 15 to 20 minute video. Um, because if you've seen any of my music reaction videos, I can easily talk about a 3 minute song for 20 to 30 minutes. I don't want to do that, particularly if I'm picking seven favorites. That video would be 2.5 hours long. No one wants that. So gonna try not to be too don't expect a full music theory deep dive or anything like that. But hopefully I can keep it a bit more entertaining. I like this song because it's good. It tickles my tympanic membranes in the most delightful way. Um, so that's what I'm working on. Watched a couple movies this week. You know what? I'm gonna spoil the movie Mandates podcast that I do with my sister in, I think it's May. May is the Streisand Effect month, and that's the theme for that. I think it's May. Um, and the idea was to pick a movie that either exemplifies the Streisand effect or was part of the Streisand effect itself, like it was a gory movie that no one would have paid attention to if it weren't pearl clutching dingbats going, "Ah, it's horrible, horrible movie. No one watched this movie here. This one, it's got all the blood and guts and nudity in it. Definitely don't watch it." And then everybody watched it, right? Streisand effect. I could have done that, but I wanted to see What's Up, Doc, which is just a film from Barbra Streisand's filmography. So that was my pick for that month, which again you'll see in a couple of months. I'd never seen it before, and I just want to say this: I am shocked that What's Up, Doc is not mentioned, or at least I've never seen this film mentioned among the best movie action car chase scenes. Normally, people will talk about the French Connection, the Italian Job, Vanishing Point, Blues Brothers, things like that. But I've never heard anyone mention What's Up, Doc as one of the best having one of the best car action scenes I've ever seen. It totally does. I was shocked. I was clenching my butt cheeks throughout that entire sequence. It's great. So even if you don't like that style of comedy, it's a movie from the early 70s. It's kind of a throwback to the madcap screwball comedies of like the 40s. In fact, it has almost exactly the same setup as the one with Cat, Cary Grant and Hepburn, Jesus, bringing up baby. Um, Almost exactly the same plot as that. Anyway, it's a really funny movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I was stunned about how good the car action scene is. So even if you don't like that style of comedy, watch the car action sequence because it's really really good. Um, South Park the movie. Yeah, that might have been a good example of a film that, although South Park was at the height of its popularity, well, a height of its popularity at the time. So, but yeah, the people complaining about how naughty it was certainly didn't help. You know what? If the movie had just hit the theaters and left, it probably would not have been nominated for Best Original Song or something. It didn't Blame Canada get nominated for Best Original Song, something like that. That probably would not have happened but for the Eisen effect. So, for anyone wondering where the Streisand effect came from, someone published a picture online of Barbara Streisand's Malibu homes somewhere, and she was like, "Would you please not do that?" And it just ended up drawing much more attention to her home and where it was. The Streisand effect, you know, inadvertently calling attention to a thing that you don't want people to pay attention to. So, let's see. What was my point with this whole thing? Oh, good car chase in What's Up, Doc. So, check it. This week I watched another movie called Pretty Lethal. Have you ever seen Gymkata? This is a movie that says, hey, gymnasts could be action stars. So it's a movie about some organization that you remember. It's like Enter the Dragon, but we don't have Bruce Lee, so send a gymnast. I'm sure he'll be just as good. You know, it's that kind of a thing. It is a hilarious movie. It's a bad movie, but it's bad in the most enjoyable and even awesome ways. So it's a movie that's like, hey, we could for cheap get a gold medal gymnast, and he could do all his own stunts. This is great. It's a terrible movie, but it's wonderful too. Um, well, what about ballerinas? Because they can spin and kick and, and jump. They're good at jumping, and they can walk on their tippy toes, like like all action heroes. Um, so the movie Pretty Lethal is kind of the idea with Gymkata. It's like it's actually if you saw Green Room from several years back, a group of singers get stuck in a bar run by a bunch of white nationalists. This is a bunch of ballerinas that get stuck in a bar run by a bunch of uh, some Eastern country, I forget which one, mafia. Same thing. And they must use their elite ballerina skills to kill all the mafia people and get out in one piece. And it is actually, I thought it was pretty fun. Good? No, but I thought it was a fun 90 minutes. If Damon says, "While I was flying back from Tokyo, I watched one battle after another." I keep meaning to watch it because I see it on like HBO, I think. Uh, but then I keep seeing that it's 2.5 hours. I'm like, I don't want to. I just don't want to. I'm sure it's good, but I just like I'm halfway through my life. I don't have 2.5 hours anymore. um, I'm getting less patient as I get older. It's weird. But Pretty Lethal, it was between one battle after another and Pretty Lethal's only 90 minutes, so I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Um, I think all of the lead actors have stunt ballerinas, and that's handled well. I didn't catch them doing any weird face replacement things. It's just body doubles, and camera focuses on feet or focuses on silhouette or something like that. But the lead actors acquit themselves quite well. In fact, the main protagonist, I believe, is a dancer herself. Um, so good on him. Oh, and Uma Thurman's in it, uh, playing the leader of the mafia, who was a prima ballerina herself back in the day until uh, an even worse mob guy took her leg. So, um, the action scenes are pretty inventive and well realized. Most of the jokes land pretty well. A few of them, I think, go a little bit too far into the eye-rollingly silly territory, but there's a lot of good stuff that plays on uh, they can only do this because they're ballerinas. Like they're hiding in a kitchen, so they use their innate flexibility to jam themselves into small places. Or one of them's up on a shelf doing a full split. Um, they all jam X-Acto knife blades into the tips of their ballet shoes so that they can pirouette and swing their feet at people and slice them. That's great. Um, and I really like how the individual performers handle, because they don't really turn into like complete stone cold killer badass ballerina fighter peoples. They still they're they're still very scared. Like one of my favorite beats, I forget which of the characters, and it doesn't matter because you probably haven't seen the movie either. They're fighting one or two bad guys, and one of them like stabs one of them with a pair of scissors that she had in her bag, and then she just like she just kind of freaking out. Yeah, doing a very human, very real, just Um, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's I nothing I'll ever watch again. I'm not clamoring for a sequel or anything, but I thought it was an entertaining 90 minutes on my couch. So yeah, fair point. I had nothing but time given. I was stuck on a plane for 14 hours. Yeah, I mean if you're on a plane for a extended period of time, a 2.5 hour movie, it's like shit, throw on the entire extended edition of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Um, I'm going to guess that Pretty Lethal is not the original name of this movie. I imagine it had another name at some point. That sounds like a too clever by half executive or producer, or perhaps executive producer. It's like, I like it, but what if we called it Pretty Lethal? Do you get it? Yeah, I get it. Because they're pretty and they're lethal, so it's like pretty lethal, so it works as an adjective for it's like, yeah, I get it. Do we have to call it? Yes, you have to call it that. Okay. Um, I also watched Ballerina, which is the John Wick spinoff. Uh, that was just the stars aligning on both of them happening to come out on streaming this week. So I'm like, oh hey, we've got a theme week. It's ballerina week, I guess. Although What's Up Doc, it doesn't have any ballerinas in it that I recall. Anyway, Ballerina, I watched it and I thought it was okay. Let's see. I'd rather it be called Killer Ballerinas. Um, you know what? I should probably go browse IMDb's trivia section or the Wikipedia page or something. I'm sure that information is out there somewhere if it had an original title. Hell, it might go by that title if they sell it to other countries. Yeah, that happens. Movies get sold under different names all the time. But anyway, Ballerina's okay. Um, it does have some really creative, inventive, well executed action, but genuinely. But overall, I found the movie kind of dull. Yeah, it picks up in its back half, but overall I was just kind of bored. I didn't really care for it too much. Um, uh, there is one really great sequence that starts at the end of an action sequence. So, Ballerina Girl goes on, I don't, Anna shit, I can't remember the actor's name either. Ballerina Girl gets sent on a mission to just go kill people. And the scene starts after the entire thing is over. And the camera just follows her as she makes her way out of the building. It starts in, like, I think a bathroom, and there's, one guy with his head in a toilet and another one with his head through a wall. And so, she takes a picture of the dead body, and it goes confirmed, $500,000, put in your checking account. And she's like, okay. And she yanks the knife out of the guy's face and wipes it off and puts it in a scabbard. And then she walks out of the bathroom. And as she walks out of the bathroom and through the ballroom or wherever the hell she is and heads to the elevator, you just see more and more dead bodies and damage and destruction, and you start piecing together in your mind the action scene that must have taken place but 5 minutes before this. It's really clever and really fun and really inventive. I really like it. And it continues as she goes into the elevator, down and out through a party and out into an alleyway where her car is pinning what's now a dead body against a wall. And she just reverses and the guy slumps to the floor. So this clearly started with her slamming her car into somebody and then going in and shooting her way upstairs through a room and then into resulting in a bathroom. I thought that was great. And it's not even an action scene. It's just her walking out and, collecting all of her throwing knives and her empty gun clips and stuff, just cleaning up after herself. Uh, I really enjoyed that. And of course, a new action scene starts, and it's got a really good start. Little CGE, but it's inventive enough that it's like, that doesn't look as good as it possibly could, but it's so inventive and cool, I'll give that a pass. So there's some really great action in this film. But overall, I found it just kind of dull, aside from the action. And I do appreciate the way they use John Wick in the movie. I guess well, it's not really a spoiler because he's in the marketing. So, um, he while he doesn't solve her problem for her, he does save her ass. Um, which I would not have done that. I think that's too much. I mean, it's not as bad as it could have been, but I would have pulled off on that. I like the fact that John Wick, because I was wondering, it's like, she's going to fight John Wick. Is she just as good? And the answer is no, she's nowhere close. She is not on his level. Nowhere near. She does get in a tussle with him, and it is abundantly clear that she is nowhere near the level of the Baba Yaga. Nobody is. Not the ballerina, not pretty much anyone else in this universe. That guy's just in a class of his own. So that keeps the mystique of the Baba Yaga going. So what do they do with it instead? They do something that I feel is particularly clever. They make John Wick her ticking clock. He's sent there to kill her. And he tells her, he's like, you know, I'm here to stop you from doing this one thing. Your only shot at survival is just leaving. Because if you press on, I'm gonna have to kill you, and I'm John Wick. We both know how that's gonna go. But he is, John Wick's an old softy. He gives her a chance. He says, look, my contract is I have to get this done by midnight. So if you get your stuff done by midnight, I don't have anyone to stop you. Then my business here is done. Get it done by midnight, or I'm going to kill you. So she now has like 28 minutes, and I think there was at that point about 28 minutes left of the movie, uh, to find the bad guy and kill the bad guy, or John Wick is going to ice her. That's a pretty good use, showing that she cannot beat this guy. No one can. It's the damn Baba Yaga, right? Using him as her ticking clock, I think that's a really good, really strong, really smart choice. Still kind of a dull movie, um, with good action. But one thing I did want to point out, and I complained about this on social media, is he looks at her watch, which is a standard watch, and the camera zooms in on the camera shows the watch, and then the camera subtitles what time it is. 11:32. And I was like, oh, screw you, movie. I can read a watch. I don't need subtitles for a non-digital watch. Ugh, I am insulted. To be fair, it is a really quick shot. I mean, the watch is only in focus for a fraction of a second before the focus racks to Anna de Armas. What's her name? Something. The ballerina person, Super Ballerina X. It rack focuses to her face, so it may be a matter if they weren't originally planning on subtitling it, but they looked at the footage and go, okay, the watch isn't on the screen, but for like a quarter of a second, we need to subtitle it because the watch is sideways. It's hard. It's only a 16th of the entire frame. It's on all the way to the left side of the frame. It's not center focus. Most people are probably going to miss it. I'm sure everyone can read a standard clock just fine, but just the way we shot it, let's subtitle it. Okay, I still don't like it. I was insulted. I need to watch Lycroix Recoil. What is that? Is that spelled correctly? Because I don't recognize the name. Let me see if I get any hits on it. Ba, 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 ba. But yep, it's let's see. It looks like a anime series. Uh, a secret organization that prevents crimes. DA, Direct Attack, and their group of all-girl agents like Horace. I don't know. This peaceful everyday life is all thanks to these young girls. The elite Chisato Nishikigi is the strongest Chorus agent of all time. Alongside is Takina Inoue, the talented but mysterious Chorus. They work together at one of its branches, Cafe Lyco Reco. Here are the orders this cafe takes range from coffee and sweets to childcare, shopping, teaching Japanese to foreign students, etc. It's mostly tasks unbefitting of Chorus. The free-spirited and optimistic pacifist Chisato, the cold-headed and efficient Takina, the chaotic everyday lives of this mismatched duo begins. When did this air? Let's see. 2023, so fairly recent. I recognize the character designs. I definitely at least saw sales art of this at some point. Pretty sure I didn't watch it, though. Okay, I'll give the first episode a look. The main character. So the main character is basically John Wick. Okay. So Ballerina Week. In video game news, Sony is adding $150 to the price of its consoles. So, for example, the next week, I think. So, for example, the PlayStation 5 Pro is now going to be $900. Yowza. I guess I'm glad I bought mine when I did. So, yikes. But that's not the only one. Nintendo made some news this week saying that it's going to up the price of its physical games. So the physical games are going to be more expensive than the digital versions. I guess that's an attempt to encourage people to buy the digital versions, which means Nintendo gets a larger chunk of that sale than they do for a physical, because the physical version certainly costs them. I mean, the difference, the only example they gave is the new Yoshi game, which I think the physical version is $70 and the digital version is 60. So it's a $10 difference, even though, like, they only get like 25 or $30 of the physical game, whereas the digital game they get almost the entire thing. So it's not really that much of a spread. I imagine the thinking behind it is we want to encourage you to buy the digital version because we get to keep more of your purchase cost when you do that. For me, just me though, for me, that doesn't encourage me to buy the digital version. That just encourages me to buy less games from Nintendo. Because, I mean, if the physical version was $70 and the digital version was 20, I might reconsider. Very likely would. But I'm not paying $60 for the game, so I'm not buying it either way. All Nintendo is doing, at least for me, is kind of guaranteeing that I'm just not buying any of their games. Then again, it's been almost a year at this point, and I still don't have a Switch 2, and not planning on buying one. I mean, at least it's not jumping up $150, but I think the sucker's $450, right? I I just there's nothing on that. There's very little on that console I want to play, and nothing on it that I need to play. There's only two games I'm actually interested in: Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks fun, but it's not like Mario Odyssey, which is like, oh my god, that looks amazing. I must play that. No, I don't need to must play Donkey Kong Bonanza. I would like to. It looks fun, but you know, not in a particularly big yank. And I feel the same way about Metroid Prime 4. It's not a must play, it's just something I would like to play, and I definitely would if I had the console. And that's literally it. I wouldn't mind having a Switch too, because I hear tell that some of the Switch games they have on the shelf that I haven't played yet run better on the Switch too, so that's nice. Um, but yeah, the Yoshi game in the book, I forget what the subtitle of the game is, looks really cool. I'm interested in it. So that's three. There's a rumor that there's going to be an Ocarina of Time remake, but I don't care because I already played Ocarina of Time 30 years ago on the Nintendo 64. I still have it. Um, and I actually already played the remake. It's called Twilight Princess. There are some very similar. It is almost a remake of Ocarina of Time, in a lot of regards. But I've discussed this before. But for me, generally speaking, if I'm going to get a remake, it has to be a fundamentally different game in general. Um, like if it's just a better graphics, I don't care. Um, then again, if we're talking, N64 to Switch 2, the graphics would be so much better that it might be a different enough experience to merit another play. Maybe. Have to wait and see. But is it a remake? Is it a reimagining like the Resident Evil remakes are? You know, because the Resident Evil 2 remake is a fundamentally different game than the original RE2. Same thing with the RE3 and 4 remakes. So, you know, because I got all of those and I played them and I like them quite a bit. They are very different though. Or the Final Fantasy VII remakes. Those are completely different games from the PlayStation originals. If Tim says all I want from a remake is full camera controls. There you go. I have a Switch too, he says, because I'm too much of a Pokemon fan. It is 450 and you're suspecting it will go up in price soon enough. Hot take, upping the price of the physical games makes sense, given physical sales are becoming increasingly niche. I would posit perhaps they're becoming increasingly niche because they're getting more and more expensive. There was I forget I forget where the information came from, but there was some info earlier this year talking about how $20 to $30 games sold better than $60 to $80 games. It probably came straight from Valve. I don't remember who reported on that. But the conclusion was, hey, you know, we should have, not every game should be priced at $30, but, you know, the $30 game market is robust and healthy. You know, big publishers like, you know, the Nintendos and Sonys of the world might consider getting in on that action. You know, make some mid-budget games. Not everything needs to be developed by 500 people over the course of 7 years and end up costing $70 or $80. You know, get some smaller teams and, you know, take a year and a half to make a game and sell it for 20, $30. And, you know, if it flops, you didn't spend that much time or money on it, but maybe you have. If it does well, great. Maybe it'll be a hit and you'll have your next damn franchise and you'll be like, oh my god, this was like Balatro huge or something like that, or Vampire Survivors or whatever. And then you're like, all right, our next one is going to be a huge AAA thing, which would be kind of a dumb move, but I'm sure that's the one that most of the game publishers would make. Digital distribution helps with that, better margins. Yeah, I think that's what Nintendo's trying to do with the physical. I think it's, we encourage you to do the digital thing. It works just better for us. We don't want to spend all this money on, you know, printing discs and making and buying the cases and printing out the inserts and, you know, paying to have these put together and packaged and shipped all over the place. That cuts into the amount of money we get off of the sales price. It's much nicer to just, you know, pay for the ESRB rating and then probably some, depending, this wouldn't be Nintendo, but you know, paying whatever services hosted for, you know, Valve for Steam and maybe the Epic Store, and if that's still around. I mean, I'm sure the Epic Store is just fine. I mean, after all, what they just lay off 1,000 people? Holy shit! What was who's the Epic guy? Is it Sweeney? I don't remember. But one of the stupidest things. CEOs, you're terrible at PR. Stop talking. Stop it. They probably fired all their PR people and are using ChatGPT, which is why they keep saying stupid shit. But he said something like, no, it's not a bad thing that we just laid off 1,000 people. We did all the other game publishers a favor because now the market is flooded with all these wonderful, incredibly talented people with Epic right on the top of their Epic resume. Right? And it's like, if these people are so stupendous, why did you fucking fire all of them? What a dumb asshole. What a stupid thing to say. Did ChatGPT tell you to say that? Hire comms people, you dumb assholes. You're terrible at this. Maybe like Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA guy, Maybe he just loves the taste of shoes, and that's why he always puts his foot in his mouth. Get it? 'Cause you get it. It is Tim Sweeney. Okay, I had that right. How about that? Uh, the E30 Expedition 33 devs confirmed that was around 10 million ish. Okay. And also admitted Fortnite is no longer profitable. I mean, my guy, Fortnite's been going for a decade. It's made you billions. Did you squander that? Are you just bad with money? Like, I think if I made billions, I'd probably be set. Do you know how unfathomably stupid you have to be? How poor of a manager you have to be in every respect to squander that much money? I mean, it's like, yeah, eventually the golden goose dies. It's a supernatural fowl that lays golden eggs, yes, but it's still mortal. The damn thing has a lifespan. It's going to die at some point. It might get eaten by a coyote. Think, McFly. Think. Or wait, it's not. It's not Back to the Future anymore. What's the more current think meme? It's the it's Invincible, right? Think, Mark. Think. Um. Uh, Smarter than CE Andrew. Smarter than a CEO. Not as well off though. I I looked at that downward sloping line on my investments earlier today. Oh, okay, that was I shouldn't do that. Uh, I get paid this week, and I'm like, should I put more money into my investments because the stocks are cheap? So, as long as the companies don't completely fold, the number goes back up. I mean, if I was retiring this summer, that would be a humongous problem, but I ain't retiring until like the 40s, so uh, plenty of time. Um, I also my like a year and a half ago, I closed my savings account and opened another savings account because my original savings account had shit interest rate. So I closed it and I opened a new savings account with a better interest rate. Well, that interest rate dropped to 0.05, which means that my interest for last month was a buck 11 or something like that. So I've closed my savings account again and opened a different savings account with an actual interest rate, which was kind of an ordeal, a bigger one than I feel it should have been. So I open the account. First of all, I talk to the banker. I get the link sent to me in an email. I click on it. I get a little code on my phone, two-factor authentication. I type it in, and it says, "Are you a bank customer?" Yes. Log in. Okay. Bing, another two-factor authentication code, but nowhere to type it, so I'm kind of stuck. So, new instance, log in, look up the right product, sign up for it that way. And I try to move my balance, so I make the new savings account, try to move the balance from the old one over, but you can only move in whole dollars, which means I had 11 cents left over because of the buck 11 interest or whatever it was. So I had 11 cents sitting in the old account. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just do a money transfer. Well, I can't because you can only transfer a minimum of $5. So I'm like, do I have to transfer money into the account to transfer more money out? So I call the bank and I say, can you transfer this last 11 cents out? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, it's clear now. Great. Can you close the account? Because I don't see an option on your website for actually closing the old account. And they're like, oh no, you'd have to call customer service. Are you not customer service? No, I'm a banker. What she meant, and I understand, is she's a banker. She is not a customer service representative for the bank. She's an actual banker. I need to call the bank's customer service line, which means I need to sit in an automated menu system until I can get through to someone I can actually talk to close the account. So, little more circuitous than I would prefer, but got her done, and hopefully next month I'll have more than a buck 17 or buck 11 in interest, because now I have a 3.5% interest rate. Yeah, boy. Until they drop it to 0.05 again in the next year. But I mean, if you want to lock in an interest rate, that's what CDs are for. you know, you know, if you're pretty confident that you will never need access to your money, you can just lock it into a long-term CD. Although there aren't a lot of long-term CDs right now, most of them are like 5 months because of everything. Oh, I also got gas. I only put 20 bucks in because gas is over $6 a gallon here in San Diego. And I'm like, I don't drive that much. I'm just gonna put 20 bucks in, and that'll probably last me for a couple of months. That's the first. I think that might be the first time I have not filled my tank, and I only have a small car. It's like a 12-gallon tank. It's not very large, but when gas is let's see, downtown it's 6.50. It's 6.49 a gallon. Out here, not downtown, it was like, I think it was 6.09. I think the one down the street. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I do live in Southern California. That's why gas is so expensive, but it's also a lot more expensive than it normally is everywhere in the country. So, let's see. To be frank, most comms people are bad at comms too. yeah. Um, just getting EV. I yeah. Yeah, I have the car I bought used because it was what was available and it's what I could afford when the engine in my previous car broke. It would have cost way more than buying a new or buying a used car to fix the engine. So I just bought a used car. It's got pretty low mileage on it. It's just a little car. It's fine. But yeah, so my current plan is I don't drive that much. In fact, I probably only put gas in the car like 3, maybe 4 times a year. I drive so little. I drive to the grocery store once every 12 days or so. That's about it. It's a 6 mile round trip. So I don't go. I mean, I did go to the protest today. That's how far is Balboa Park from me? 10 miles, so 20-mile round trip. Um, so yeah, I don't put a lot of miles on my car, but yeah, my plan. So there's not really much reason to buy a new car right now. I figure, um, I'll just when this car eventually dies, then I'll look into buying, an EV or something. So yeah. So, we did touch on this a little bit a few minutes ago. Tomorrow on the Sunday stream, again, it's going to be a few weeks until we get back to Cold Steel. Tomorrow we're going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake because when I played it, and I have played it and finished it, including the Project Ada? No, Separate Ways. Separate Ways DLC. Um, I missed something. There is a locked attic in the village chieftain Mendez. Is that his name? The Big Cheese. There's a attic, a locked door to an attic in his house, and you need to go get the key. And I got the key. Unfortunately, I inadvertently hit a point of no return before I could make it back to his house. I was like, oh, what's this over here? Oh, poop. It's a point of no return, and I am permanently barred from getting back to his house to check out what's in the attic. So, tomorrow, we're going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I'm going to try and get into Chief Mendez's attic and see what's in there. Probably a green herb or something. Or maybe a diary or something like that. So that'll be fun. So one neat thing is when I played Resident Evil 4 Remake, it was on the PlayStation 4. And you are allowed, if you have the PlayStation 4 version, to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free. So I did that. And I wanted to move my save over, which is easy. If you pay for PlayStation Plus, I think is PlayStation Plus, which I don't. So I don't have cloud saves. And I thought, well, surely it's as easy as just copying the save onto a thumb drive and then loading it off of a thumb drive. Sweet summer child. No. 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 You have to, the easiest way I found to do it is to make sure both consoles are connected to a home network and then do a file transfer. That is meant to copy essentially your hard drive, all of your PlayStation 4 games and saves to your new console. I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted my Resident Evil 4 save. Luckily, when you do that, you can pick and choose what you want to bring over. So I did. Unfortunately, it says, hey, this save already exists. And I'm like, it does? Oh, because I opened up the game and I made sure it worked, and it probably created a save. So I opened up Resident Evil 5. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a save. So I went to the saves and I deleted it. And okay. Went back to the whole thing again, and it's still saying save data exists. Just can't move this over. I'm like, well, poo. So I deleted the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil 4, which was like an hour to download. And I try it again. Same thing. And I'm like, how could that be? I deleted the save. I deleted the entire game. Oh, it's the PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 5 that has a save data that it created. Oh, okay. You see, when you stick the PlayStation 4 disc, it creates the PlayStation 4 version of the game, and then you go to the store and download the PlayStation 5 version with the disc in there so it can authenticate it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I deleted the PlayStation 4 version of the save and did it, and okay, now it works. Of course, now I have to re-download the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil 4 Remake, which took another hour. So yeah, this was an all-evening ordeal just to move a goddamn save file. Because I'm too cheap to pay for a service that I have almost no use for. Sure, I guess cloud saves would be convenient. Particularly in this case, but otherwise, no. Oh right, says Ethan Damon, I forgot. Unlike Valve, Sony charges for cloud saves. Yeah. Yeah. You can still save your game and they can be local, but you want to move those around, we're going to make that a bit cumbersome because we want you to pay whatever the hell PlayStation Plus costs for the privilege of being able to access your cloud saves anywhere. And we're not going to make it as easy as copying the saves onto a thumb drive and then just, pulling them off of the thumb drive on the other console. No, 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 no. If you're not going to subscribe to PlayStation Plus, you must suffer. So, very happy I'm on PC right now. Yeah. So... Well, so tomorrow, Sunday stream, Resident Evil 4 remake. That'll be a rollicking good time. Hey, it's the PlayStation 5 version, and that version has the toggle for realistic hair strands. So we'll see Leon Kennedy in all of his boy band glory. um, also, I'm going to need probably two more another one of the weekends will. So tomorrow we'll do Resident Evil 4 remake. One of the weekends before we start up Cold Steel 3, we'll be doing Brian's Patreon reward video, which will be the opening hours of Dragon Quest 7 reimagined. So I need one, maybe two other games that would be good candidates for um for subsequent Sunday streams before we hit Cold Steel 3. So, any suggestions? Do let me know in the comments, or DM me on Blue Sky or whatever. If you have a suggestion, I'm open to hearing it. And that's it for tonight. So, thank you everyone for hanging out. Hope you had a good time, and hope to see you tomorrow for some Resident Evil 4 fun. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye bye.